Now, WFXR News Weather First, Virginia's most accurate forecast.
And we've been talking about it for days. The winter storm that we have been discussing is officially here, and you can see that we have snow that is falling here into the Roanoke area. It is kind of a dry, powdery snow, not exactly the kind of snow that will make a good snowball, but we're going to break down the entire weather pattern, what we can expect throughout the day, and we'll talk travel conditions. We'll run the gamut about what is ahead with this winter storm coming up in just a little bit as a special edition of winter weather coverage starts now on WFXR.
Local for you, WFXR Good Day Virginia winter storm coverage starts now.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Charmaine Brown. We're tracking a major winter storm minute by minute, folks, as it moves into our backyards this morning. We do have team coverage for you with teams in Roanoke and South Side. But first, let's start with meteorologist Kara Thompson. Good day to you, Kara Thompson. What are we looking at for today's forecast?
Well, it's definitely going to be a messy forecast for this morning. We have that winter storm. It's making its way into our region. And as we take a quick look at that radar, much of our area is seeing snow at this point. Maybe just a few flurries as we start to go a little bit higher towards Highland, Pocahontas County, even portions of Rockbridge County. But really, this is just the start of the storm, and this will continue throughout the day. So with that in mind, we do have some winter storm alerts for our entire region. We have that winter storm warning, and that's because of the snow in the forecast. But also, we are looking at the chance for some sleet and freezing rain at times, so snowy and icy conditions. Not only will that lead to hazardous travel conditions for people who are hitting the roadways, but also there is that chance for some power outages. So if you can stay put for today, that is the best advice that we can give you. You do not want to get stuck in these snowy conditions that we're looking at for your Sunday, especially as they continue to deteriorate. Now, here's where the storm is at right now. The center of it over top of northern Alabama for this morning, and it will start to make its way towards the Commonwealth as we head later into the day. So this is just the beginning, and really this will continue even as we head into the evening hours. So you want to watch out for that snow. Yes, it is fun to play in, but definitely not travel in. We're going to see reductions of visibility at times, and as well as that, we're going to be dealing with the periods of sleet, freezing, rain. That's going to lead to some icy conditions, but also we're going to be dealing with some gusty winds. That's going to make it feel colder outside, but also that's going to help with that chance for power outages as well. So that will continue to be a threat even as we head later into your Sunday and into Monday morning. So I'm going to have a full look at what we're looking at when it comes to this winter weather forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Kara, thank you. We continue our team coverage this morning with WFXR's Hazel Marie Anderson, who is live in Danville. Hazel Marie, what are you seeing there? I see snow coming down.
Yeah, a lot of snow, Charmaine, is coming down. And in fact, the wind is starting to pick up and it's really blowing it my way. I want to step out the way for a moment so you can actually see what's going on in the city of Danville. While they are projecting to have snow, as you can see, it's not just the snow that we're worried about here in the city of Danville, but it's ice, especially here and instead of in other areas. Now, another thing I want people to pay attention to, because of the freezing rain that we're going to get in this area later on this morning, utility crews from Florida were sent here to help and be on standby to assist the city of Danville when it comes to restoring power, just in case if power does go out. Now, if the power does go out, the city of Danville says crews will work on areas with the most power outages first, then they will work on the areas other areas as they go along. Now, I do want to let everybody know throughout this morning, I'm going to walk back in for just a moment. Throughout this morning, public works crews have been working around the clock this morning. They say they're going to be working around the clock throughout Sunday, plowing snow, spreading salt and sand. So we're going to keep you updated as things go along and as the storm moves through our area. Back to you.
Hazel Marie, thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a few moments. And a state of emergency is currently in effect right now. The governor's office says this lets emergency responders move supplies and equipment when and where they need to be. The state of emergency also means that Virginia's anti-price gouging statutes are now in place, and that protects people from paying excessive prices for food, gas, water, generators, and other necessities. And dozens of National Guard soldiers are also set along the 81 and 460 corridors. They have heavy-duty vehicles to help help them through the snow. They also have chainsaws to clear any debris from fallen trees. Well, earlier this week, Guard members were dispatched to clear roads and trees along with some power lines in central Virginia. And many of you are waking up this morning. You may be wondering if the roads in your area are safe to drive on. Well, Jason Bond with VDOT Salem District now joins us live on the phone. Good day to you, Jason.
Good morning.
First off, how are the road conditions looking right now?
Well, things are starting to become snow covered as the storm passes through our area. We're seeing roads begin to become more moderate condition, which means there's getting to be a layer of snow on those roadways. As the storm continues to track through our area, we would expect conditions to deteriorate through the day. Our crews are focused currently on the interstates and primary roads, making multiple passes over those routes, but the snow continues to fall and cover them again.
Okay, Jason, if someone needs to drive today, what should they keep in mind to be safe?
Well, we certainly would hope everyone would avoid non-essential travel today, but if you do have to be out and about, you should give yourself plenty of time, not pass our snow plows. Pack an emergency kit in your vehicle in the event that you were to become stranded. You should have things like a shovel, a blanket, maybe some food, maybe some kitty litter or abrasives to provide traction. So please, if you do have to be out, take some extra safety precautions and prepare.
And Jason, you did mention the snow plows. If you were to come into contact or be driving behind one of your snow plows, what should folks do?
Will never pass a snowplow. That's important. Also, stay far back. Don't tailgate a snowplow. There is usually a salt spreader in use in the back of that snowplow that's spreading the chemicals out of the back of it, so you certainly don't want to crowd that plow. Give them plenty of room and allow them to do their work.
Jason, thank you so much, and safe regards to your team out there working so hard for us. All right, Jason Bond with VDOT Salem District, thanks for joining us this morning. Appalachian Power is also ready for today's storm. They've talked to their crews and making sure that they're packed and ready to start power restoration. They've also called in crews from Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio to help. The company says that it will do the damage assessments once the majority of the storm has passed. And here are the latest outage numbers from Appalachian Power. This is right now, as of this morning. We're not seeing any major power outages. We'll check back in throughout the morning. Let's turn now to WFXR's Kylie Kidd, who is live in Roanoke this morning. Good day to you, Kylie. What are you seeing there? I see snow falling where you are as well.
So when we got here, the flakes were few and far between, and now it is definitely coming down out here. Definitely out of my element being from Florida, and I brought a handy dandy ruler to measure our snowfall totals, which it looks like I'm going to be needing pretty soon. There are definitely cars on the roadway behind me as well as snowplows. When driving today, if you need to go out, we want to be very careful and leave extra stopping distance between you and the car in front of you. When you are stopping, pump your brakes, and if you need to stop suddenly, hit the brakes hard, and if your car has anti-lock brakes, that should engage then. Live and local, Kylie Kidd, WFXR News.
Kylie, thank you so much, and we'll check back in with you in just a few moments. We also want to welcome Kylie Kidd to the Roanoke area. She's new to the WFXR family. Thank you, Kylie. In central Virginia this morning, Lynchburg crews are closely watching the storm. They spent much of the weekend pre-treating city roadways, but they're also asking folks to avoid driving unless absolutely necessary. And the Greatest Lynchburg Transport Company has also suspended service until 11:45 tomorrow morning. River Ridge Mall is also closed, folks. Meantime, with frigid temperatures expected into Monday morning, the Salvation Army in Lynchburg opened up a warming station to the public. The organization is not requiring screening for those using the warming shelter. And also new this morning, all commercial flights out of Lynchburg Regional Airport are canceled today. Danville Regional Airport is also closed. At Roanoke Blacksburg Regional Airport, 12 departing flights have been canceled. 6 arrivals into the airport are also canceled. And volunteers in Lynchburg are ready to go this morning and waiting to help essential workers get on the job amid dangerous roads conditions. Well, the members of Hill City Wranglers, a Jeep enthusiast group, they're offering up their vehicles and time. That's all day today. They're giving back to front-line workers.
Well, we just appreciate what they do for everybody in the community, so we want to do what we can do to help them out. You know, safety for the people is a priority.
Those club members say it's the least they can do to those working around the clock and also protecting the Hill City. Now, if you work for a hospital or first responders and you need a lift, you can simply send them a message on Facebook. And if you haven't already, go ahead, folks, and download our WFXR News app to stay up to date with the latest on the storm. This is a free download. Simply go to your Apple app or Google Play Store on your mobile device and search WFXR.
And coming up after the break, we have the latest ad from Danville because we are live in the city of Danville. We'll give you all the information that you need to know, especially if you do have to head out that door. That's right after the break.
And even though the snow may look pretty, we are going to be dealing with some wintry weather threats. That's anywhere when it comes to several inches of snow in the forecast. We're going to be dealing with some freezing rain as well. So definitely try to avoid those roadways if you can. And also keep in mind, we could be dealing with some power outages. So I'm going to have a little bit more about what we're seeing with this particular winter storm in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a live look outside at I-77 in Carroll County this morning. And we're seeing some of that snow sticking to the interstate right now. So if you absolutely have to head out, please make sure you use extreme caution, slow down, and of course plan out that extra time. But if you have nowhere to be today, just stay home. Well, the time right now is 10:11. Continue watching WFXR News for our latest winter storm coverage.
Welcome back, everybody. It is 10:14. We are tracking a winter weather storm moving through Southwest Virginia right now. We turn now to Hazel Marie Anderson in Danville. Good day to you, Hazel Marie.
Good day to you, Charmaine. I'm actually going to step out the way for just a moment because I want you guys to take a look at the city of Danville this morning. Now, normally there would be cars on the roads, especially on these major streets here in the city, but I don't know if you can hear it. It's eerily quiet, and in the background and in the distance, you can hear snow plows, folks shoveling their sidewalks. That's what's actually happening right now. Earlier this morning, public works crews were out, and they do say that they're going to be out around the clock this morning, plowing snow, spreading salt and sand, and they're also out just to make sure to remove any fallen trees and limbs that might be blocking the streets due to all the snow that's falling. Now, another thing that folks need to be aware of, and what's actually happening right now, it's not just the snow, but it's kind of turning into sleet, and that's what's going to happen in this area. It's going to be more ice than snow, which is why utility crews from Florida came here to the city of Danville to assist in possible power outages. So it's important, if your power does go out, make sure that you don't open up those refrigerators and freezers and stuff and spoil your food. But we're going to keep you updated as the storm moves through this area. Make sure you download our WFXR News app for all the latest information when it comes to road conditions, weather. I'm going to toss it back to you, Kara. I don't know if you hear it, but yeah, there's plenty of plows out here.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like there's plenty of snow out there as well. So thank you so much, Hazel, for covering the Danville area. And we are starting to see more of that snow across southwest and central Virginia for this morning. Even taking a quick look outside, one of the cameras that we have, it's on top of Poor Mountain right now. Starting to see that snow falling, of course, sticking to the ground as well. So more snow is to come. This is just the start of the event at this point. And even taking a quick look at the satellite and radar when it comes to the bigger picture when it comes to this particular storm. The center of it is just over top of Alabama, making its way into Georgia for this morning. But as you can see ahead of it, we're seeing all that snow into North Carolina, even portions of South Carolina as well, and definitely making its way into the Commonwealth. So more snow is to come. And even with that, we are looking at other types of wintry precipitation when it comes to that sleet and even that freezing rain in the forecast. So the snow is starting to take over much of the region. It does look like we're seeing a little bit of wintry mix as we head further off toward the west, but for now, we are just seeing flakes across much of southwest and central Virginia, maybe a little bit of that sleet coming into the mix. But whether you see more snow than ice or vice versa, across our region, we're going to be dealing with that winter storm warning, and this is in effect until Monday morning, and that's because we are dealing with the snowy and icy conditions for today. Not only is that going to lead to hazardous travel conditions, but also that chance for some power outages. And it's not just the wintry weather in the sense that's coming from the sky. We're also going to be dealing with some gusty winds, which aren't going to help matters either. So let's get into the forecast. At least right now, if you're about to head out the door, maybe you're hoping to take pictures of those snowflakes falling down. It's pretty cold out there. It's 20 degrees right now in Roanoke, 19 degrees in Lynchburg and Martinsville, 15 degrees in Wytheville. And the thing is, temperatures are expected to stay below the freezing mark through much of the day. We may warm up into the lower 30s in some spots. That's more so as we head into the evening hours, though. And that's where we could see that transition for more of that snow over to freezing rain and even some rain. But that's going to be our main event for today. We'll start off with snow across much of the region, and that means we're looking at below freezing temperatures throughout much of the atmosphere. Now, as we head a little bit later into the day, we are looking at the possibility for some warmer air aloft, and that will allow any snow that falls from the sky to melt, and it may refreeze before hitting the surface. That's when we're dealing with the sleet, those itty bitty ice pellets, but also we're worried about freezing rain, and that's because what happens is that snow will melt, turn into rain, but it doesn't have quite enough time to refreeze back into those ice pellets. So what ends up happening is that rain, it hits the cold surface, it spreads out, and it freezes. So that's definitely something you don't want to be dealing with, especially when it comes to the forecast for today. So futurecast, though, I think for much of the morning hours, we're starting off with snow, seeing that transition over to some sleet and freezing rain at times as we start to head into the afternoon hours. But really, I think for the most part, this winter storm will start to wrap up overnight, maybe just a few of those mountain snow showers for your Monday morning. But for the rest of the region, looking drier, but still going to be dealing with some gusty winds out there. So really, when it comes to some of our issues ahead, our big issue is going to be that snow and ice. Wind's going to be a secondary issue for today, but when it comes to those snowfall totals, Really, as we start to go towards Buena Vista, Roanoke, Floyd into Galax, that's where we could see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow. Lynchburg is right on the line when it comes to 4 to 6 inches of snow and even 2 to 4 inches of snow. But mainly as you start to go east of US 29, that's where we're looking at lower snowfall totals, but definitely seeing more when it comes to that icy glaze, something we don't want to be messing with for today. That's going to hamper more of that chance for some power outages in our region as well. So with the 7-day forecast and what you can expect, though, what we're going to notice, definitely drier conditions as we head into Monday, but it is still going to be windy and cold out there and still going to be a mess on those roadways for your Monday morning commute. Well, stick around, everyone. We're going to have more on this winter storm coverage after the break.
Welcome back, everybody, and good day, Radford. This is a live look at Radford University, and this is what my producer Sloan would call a puffy jacket type of day. Be safe if you're out there. The time is 10:23. A winter storm is moving through our area this morning. We now check in with meteorologist Gary Boyer, who's outside the WFXR news station in Roanoke. What are you seeing out there, Gary? Good day to you.
Good day to you, Charmaine. Yeah, we do have the snow that is continuing to fall. And I don't know if you noticed at the top of the hour, we kind of had snow falling a little bit more vertically, but right now we're starting to see a little bit more of a diagonal turn to the snowfall. Basically what that is the wind that is starting to increase out of the east. As we continue over the next several hours, that wind will only continue to gradually increase, which could actually cause areas of blowing and drifting snow in some areas that actually see some of the higher accumulation totals out there. So that is just one of the things that is going to add to the potential for travel difficulties as we continue on throughout the day. So Not only are we going to have moderate to even at times locally heavy snow, but the gusty winds will also cause some of that that snow rather to blow and drift onto some of the area roadways. So of course, travel is definitely not advised. But if you are going to be out and about, be sure that you have the gloves, the hat, and you are fully prepared. Live and local in Roanoke, Gary Boyer, WFXR News.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary. We will check back in with you in just a few moments. And crews here at home are also making sure they are better prepared for this storm. Pulaski Emergency Management says that they've checked all of their communications towers and backup fuel generators. They're also adjusting staffing to make sure that they have enough people on board for the storm. Well, over in Christiansburg, the town has salted. The salt trucks are also ready to go.
We restocked our salt from the previous two events, and we got that under control. We got about 1,020 tons on hand.
And if at all possible, folks, you should stay at home today. But if you do need to go out, keep an eye out for those snow plows and make sure that you're at least 100 feet away from them. And grocery store shelves, and already reeling from staffing and the shortages, felt the rush of hundreds of customers, where the normal demand for the basics was compounded by the rush to get supplies ahead of this winter storm. A manager at the Roanoke Co-op says that this new demand is also putting a real strain on the already stressed system.
Just be mindful of, you don't have to stock up on tons and tons of stuff just to get you through the week or so, and also be flexible with what you can. If you have a favorite cereal that's not on the shelf, try something new.
Experts also say only buy what you need or what you're hoping to enjoy over the next couple of days.
Coming up, we're tracking this winter storm as it moves through southwest Virginia this morning. We'll have a full look at your forecast in just a few minutes, but first, let's take a live look outside at I-81 in Roanoke County this morning, and the snow is definitely coming down. Seeing more of it trying to stick to the interstate as well, so you really want to make sure that you use caution if you have to head out today, but if you can stay home, please stay in place. Well, the time right now is 10:26. We'll have more winter storm coverage after the break.
now. WFXR News Weather First, Virginia's most accurate forecast.
And we have a winter wonderland here in central and southwest Virginia. My name is Gary Boyer, meteorologist with WFXR News, and the snow is falling, and it's going to continue falling as we continue throughout the day. For today, it could mix with some sleet and freezing rain here in parts of the I-81 corridor. Further off to the east, it could get really messy with even more ice and sleet all possible. We'll talk about all of the numbers, forecast totals, and all that coming up in just a little bit as your special edition of winter weather coverage on WFXR News continues.
Local for you. WFXR Good Day Virginia winter storm coverage starts now.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Charmaine Brown. We are tracking a major winter storm minute by minute as it moves into our backyards this morning. We do have team coverage for you with teams in Roanoke and Southside. But first, we start with meteorologist Kara Thompson with a look at today's forecast. Good day to you, Kara.
Good day to you as well. And definitely that winter storm is making its way into our region. And like Gary said, it's starting to look a little bit more like a winter wonderland in parts of our area, like Reiner, for example. This is Auburn Middle School right now, seeing that snow sticking to the grass, the roof of the school, and also on the parking lot as well. So more of this is to come. This is just the start of the event. We're actually looking at more of this wintry weather even as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. But all of this blue that you see on the radar right now, that is the snow coming down, making its way towards Rockbridge into Bath, Pocahontas counties for this morning. However, just keep in mind, we're not going to be seeing snow for this entire event. There is the chance for some sleet and freezing rain to come into the mix as well. But when it comes to that low pressure system, it's mainly over top of northern portions of Alabama and Georgia for this morning. It will start to make its way towards the Commonwealth as we head later into the day. So messy conditions are on the way for much of our region. And with that being said, I think it's going to be as we head more so into the afternoon hours, we could deal with more of those icy factors when it comes to sleet and freezing rain in our forecast. Plus, we're also going to be dealing with some windy conditions too, and that's not going to help matters when it comes to power outages here in our region. So I'm going to have more of a look at those snowfall and ice totals that we're looking at in the forecast when it comes to this winter storm in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Kara, thank you. We turn now to Danville, and that's where WFXR's Hazel Marie Anderson is this morning. What are you seeing?
Well, I want to let everybody know we've been standing out here. When I mean we, I mean my photographer, WFXR Sports, Ryan Moy, and I, we've been standing out here for 45 minutes, and we've watched it go from fluffy snow to sleet. I'm going to step out the way for just a moment so you guys can take a look at what we're looking at right now, and this is exactly what they have been projecting. Not so much snow here in the city of Danville, but that they will be receiving in other areas, but they're talking about the ice. That's right. They're projecting more ice to be here when it comes to freezing rain as well as sleet. Power crews, utility crews from other states have come to the area to help assist if there are power outages. Public Works crews are working around the clock this morning. We just saw a crew plowing roads and salting and sanding them. So once again, you've heard this throughout the whole entire morning. If you do not have to be out this morning, please stay home. Wait till the crews get done with plowing, salting, and sanding, because these roads, let me tell you, it can be dangerous out there to drive. I'm going to toss it back to you.
Absolutely good advice this morning. Thank you so much, Hazel Marie. We will check back in with you in just a few moments. And crews in Botetourt County are also standing by, ready to do whatever they have to and ready for whatever this winter storm brings at them. Here now with us is Tiffany Bradbury. She's the Director of Communications for the county. Good day to you, Tiffany.
Good morning.
Well, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. First off, what conditions are they looking like right now in Botetourt County?
Well, right now we saw the snow start coming down about an hour ago. We did just have a briefing with a lot of our emergency responders. And, you know, we're kind of just watching the weather along with everyone else, but we are urging folks to stay home. If they can stay home, we really want them to stay home. We also want to remind them to reserve 911 for true emergencies, not for things like power outages or downed trees. We do have information on our website for the right people to call. And we just want people to, you know, kind of enjoy this Sunday, again, at home and kind of keep the stress off of our emergency responders.
Absolutely. What should people do if the power goes out?
So if the power goes out, they need to call their power provider, whether it be AEP or Dominion or Craig Botetourt Electric. Same thing if they have road conditions. That's something with VDOT, and we've been working really closely with our partners at VDOT. But again, we just want people to stay off the road. We know that there's going to be some snow and then maybe some sleet trickling in, and then also some snow back on top. So it's just really a good idea to just, kind of hunker down at home and stay off the roads if they can.
Absolutely, Tiffany. Well, some residents may head out to clear their sidewalks and driveways. Any precautions they should be taking?
So we know that this is going to be probably a little bit slippery, so we want to make sure that people are avoiding slips, trips, and falls. So if they do have some salt or things like that they can spread down, but just take your time, wear good fitting shoes. We know it's extremely cold outside, so we want people to take care with that. And then if we do get to where we have to dig out, to really take breaks, because we do see a lot of people that have heart attacks when they get out there and start shoveling. And we also know the kiddos are going to want to get out and start sledding, so make sure that they have some adult supervision and just watch out, because that's where we do see a lot of head injuries. So maybe throw a helmet on the kids before they take off sledding today.
Tiffany, good advice. Thank you so much. Tiffany Bradbury, Director of Communications for Botetourt County. Thank you. And the winter storm comes on top of rising hospitalization rates because of the pandemic. And to keep an already stressed workforce safe, Centra says they are preparing and providing healthcare workers with accommodations once they get to their hospitals. That's because they don't want the workers risking being on the roads during the storm.
We have the ability to go out to pick people up. However, that always can add risk the situation, because we're putting people out there in vehicles and they could pick someone up and they could end up in a ditch.
Carilion is also taking steps this morning to keep healthcare workers safe. They'll stay in separate housing, in separate lodging instead of the hospital itself. We now turn to WFXR's Kylie Kidd, who is live in Roanoke this morning. Hi, Kylie. How are you doing out there?
It is really snowing cats and dogs out here. I will go ahead and measure our snow total now with my ruler. And it looks like it is just a little bit under an inch right now. We are seeing mostly four-wheel drive vehicles on the road behind me, as well as a lot of snow plows and salt trucks. And it looks like it is beginning to get a little bit slushy out here, so we do want to be mindful when driving right now. If your pets and kids are going to go make a snowman today, make sure to check them for signs of frostbite. When you get frostbite, you might feel pins and needles or lose feeling in your fingers and toes. When that happens, it's good to take a break and head inside and wash it under some warm water and not hot water. Those are just some things to keep in mind today during the storm. Live and local, Kylie Kidd, WFXR News.
Kylie, thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a few moments. We also want to see how this winter storm is impacting your neighborhood. If you can do so safely, share your photos of the storm and videos with us. You can send them to our news team here at WFXR News. Send it at news@WFXRTV.com or post them on our Facebook page.
And one wintry factor that we're looking at for today is the chance for some freezing rain. So not quite like that fluffy snow that we're expecting, but this rain, it actually freezes on contact, and that's going to leave an icy glaze on sidewalks, roads, and bridges. So even if you're heading out maybe to shovel your sidewalk or your driveway, just make sure to use extreme caution out there, maybe a little bit slick. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about today's wintry forecast in just a few minutes, but first let's take a live look outside at I-81 in Montgomery County this morning. And we are seeing some of that snow sticking to the interstate. I will say one thing though, not seeing much when it comes to any vehicles passing by. So stay at home if you can for today, and of course stay warm and safe. Well, the time right now is 10:38. Stick around, we're going to have more winter weather coverage after the break.
Welcome back, everybody, and good day, Lynchburg. This is a live look at Liberty University. It is 10:41. We're going to check back in right now with WFXR's Kylie Kidd, who is live in Roanoke this morning. Good day to you, Kylie. How are the roads conditions there?
So it is snowing cats and dogs out here. The roads are looking pretty slushy. We do see a lot of snow plows coming through here, as well as those salt trucks. I will go ahead and measure our snowfall now with my ruler. So it looks like it is just a little bit under an inch right now, and it is still coming down. We want to be careful when driving today. Make sure to keep extra following distance between you and the car in front of you. As well as when you do need to stop, pump your brakes as opposed to hitting them hard. And if you do need to hit your brakes hard, make sure to push down very hard on the brake pedal, and that should engage your anti-lock brakes. Live and local, Kylie Kidd, WFXR News.
Kylie, thank you. And folks, we want to remind you to download our WFXR News app from the App Store or Google Play. It is free. It will help you stay up to date with all the latest conditions of the storm.
Well, I can say it's definitely going to be a snowy and cold day ahead, and even taking a quick look at some of the high temperatures we could have for today. This is going to be later in the day, probably the late afternoon and even early evening hours. We could see high temperatures mainly in the low 30s in the Roanoke Valley, like 31 in Daleville and Lexington and 32 degrees in Salem and Roanoke. Starting off with some snow, but we will see that chance for some sleet and freezing rain to mix in as we head later into the day. Central Virginia also starting with snow and seeing that transition to freezing rain as the day continues, but temperatures only warming up close to the freezing mark later this afternoon with a high of 31 in Amherst and Bedford, 32 in Lynchburg, and 33 degrees in Brookneal. Into Southside Virginia, starting with snow, but likely to see that transition to some freezing rain as we head into the afternoon hours. This is where we could deal with a higher chance for that icy glaze, looking at a high of 33 in Danville and Chatham, 32 in Martinsville, and 33 degrees near Charlotte Courthouse. The New River Valley may have a little bit of sleet and freezing rain coming into the mix, but snow is likely. Winds are going to pick up, and we're only looking at a high of 29 degrees in Pulaski and Pearisburg, 27 degrees in Floyd and Bland, and even into the Allegheny Highlands. Snow is moving in and looking at a high of 28 in Covington and Union and 23 in Monterey. So I'm going to have more on this winter weather forecast. That's after the break.
Welcome back, everybody. Pardon me, it's 10:46. Well, Virginia State Police are also staying busy this morning responding to accidents and stuck vehicles across Southwest Virginia. We're joined now by Richard Garlitz, public information officer with State Police. Good day to you. Thank you for waking up with us this morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell us what areas are seeing the most calls with wrecks and stuck vehicles right now?
Well, we're looking pretty good at this point, but we're at the beginning of this event, certainly. Division 6 has 8 active crashes as of about 5 minutes ago and 3 disabled, and that's throughout the division coverage, which is 14 counties. And Division 4 has 6 active crashes at this point. I guess the most significant one is southbound at the 94, where we have a jackknife tractor trailer that's off the side of the road. When we have these kind of incidents, we're most likely, with the weather coming, we're going to leave those vehicles in place as long as they're not obstructing traffic, and then we'll remove them after the event is concluded.
Okay. Sergeant Garland.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can finish.
They have 3 disabled vehicles in 4th Division as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that update. And also, Sergeant Garlitz, for those who absolutely have to drive today, what should they keep in mind to keep themselves, first responders, and even other drivers safe?
Well, first and foremost, if you got to slow down, and if you see something going on the roadway, make sure you get as far away from it as you can. If you're going to be in a vehicle, make sure that you have as close as you can to a full tank of gas in case you end up getting stuck. Blankets, any heating sources, flashlights, are going to be helpful in the dark. If you have a shovel, make sure you keep it in the car. Just anything you can take along, food, water, in the event that you get stuck, and it takes a little bit of time for help to get to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Sergeant Richard Garlitz. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Public Information Officer with Virginia State Police. Thank you once again.
Yes, ma'am.
And a winter storm is also moving through our area this morning. We check in again with meteorologist Gary Boyer, who's outside the WFXR News studio in Roanoke. What is it looking like now, Gary?
Charmaine, we definitely have the snow. It's coming down at a fairly steady rate, and I think this is kind of going to be the intensity of the snow as we continue on throughout the morning and also into the afternoon. There will be bursts of some heavier snow, but as far as consistent snow, I think this is pretty much what we can expect. Now, we did have some great advice there from Sergeant Garlitz about travel. If you do not have to travel today, it's certainly best to stay indoors. But if you do have to travel, again, he made some great tips. Leave plenty of room between you and the vehicle ahead of you, and obviously, you're going to want to slow down. Now, if you do have to be out, not necessarily on the roads, but if you're going to be out here enjoying the snow, be sure that you are properly attired. A hat, gloves, thick gloves, maybe even a scarf, because winds are certainly going to be picking up as we continue throughout the afternoon and certainly on into the evening hours as well. It's going to feel pretty uncomfortable as we move forward throughout the next several hours, as this winter storm will be continuing to plague our region over the next little bit. Let's head inside with meteorologist Kara Thompson with an update on the weather. Kara, what are you seeing?
Well, Gary, we're definitely seeing snow across much of our region right now, even with the radar. Not seeing much when it comes to that wintry mix coming into play just yet, but definitely across much of central Virginia to south side, New River Valley, and into the Allegheny Highlands. We are looking at pretty much snow across the region. But when it comes to some of those icy conditions, that's going to come into play as we head a little bit later into the day. I'm thinking more so the afternoon hours as the storm system starts to make its way towards the Commonwealth. Right now, the center of the storm is over top of northern portions of Alabama and into Georgia for this morning. So this is just the start of the event. Keep that in mind. It's going to be getting messier and messier throughout the day. We could be dealing with some heavy snowfall at times as well as that chance for some periods of freezing rain and sleet. And like Gary mentioned, you definitely want to bundle up if you're going to be outside, especially because not only are we dealing with the cold air in place, but winds are going to pick up as well. So you want to bundle up, put on the hat, put on the scarf, the gloves, the heavy jacket, but also keep in mind we could be dealing with some power outages because of those winds as well. So with the Futurecast, as we head into the afternoon hours where you see that pink, that's where we're starting to see that chance for some sleet and freezing rain, mainly as we start to go into our Piedmont. But some of that mix may make its way into the Roanoke Valley, New River Valley, central Virginia, as we start to get closer and closer to the evening hours. But this storm will start to wrap up as we head into the overnight hours, maybe dealing with some mountain snow showers for your Monday morning. But overall, we are going to start to dry off across much of our region. Now, Now, snowfall totals, what we're generally looking at, 6 to 10 inches into the Roanoke area, down into Pulaski County, Lexington, Covington, even into Floyd and portions of Patrick counties. As we go into the Lynchburg area, that's where we could see anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow, maybe a little bit less. It's mainly, though, as we go along and then east of US 29 into Charlotte, Appomattox, and Halifax counties that we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow, but we are going to be dealing with that icy glaze. So higher ice totals are expected as we start to go into central Virginia and south side. That's going to lead to some power outage issues and definitely going to lead to some slick conditions on those roadways and sidewalks as well. So definitely not going to be a fun time out there for today. Now with those wind gusts though, that's going to be another issue. It is going to be breezy out there, even brisk at times for your Sunday. And the thing is, even into Monday, we're still looking at these blustery winds in the forecast. So important that you make sure to bundle up, but keep in mind, because we are dealing with the heavy snowfall, the ice, and these winds, that's making power outages a little bit more likely across much of our region. So definitely make sure though that you are staying in place for today. So with your 7-day forecast, the winter storm is today, should be wrapping up as we head more so into the evening hours. Your Monday's looking a little bit drier. Can't totally rule out that chance for a few flurries, especially towards the mountains, but it will be windy and cold. Just make sure for today though, everyone, you are staying safe and you are staying warm out there. Now stick around, everyone. We're going to have more on this winter storm coverage. That's after the break.
Welcome back, everybody. It is 10:55. Well, if you live in the Salem area, check this out. Keep an eye out for these decked out snow plows created by some local art students. Take a look. Their names are on them too. Perry the Plowdopus, Sub-Zero, and Shaquille Snow Neal. And if you happen to catch one of them out today, snap a picture, send it in to us, WFXR News, and also upload it to our Facebook page. We'd love to see that. I think I might drive around in Salem to find one.
I was going to say, that just sounds really cute right there.
But once the snow is on it, you might not even know what it is.
Yeah, you kind of have a point there. And I would be afraid, like whatever else, I guess it kind of scrapes up from the road, it might mess up the pictures too. But hey, it puts you in a good mood with this winter weather coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, That's all the time we have this morning for our special weather forecast. One last look at weather before we go.
Yes, so definitely for today, this is just the beginning of this winter storm. It will continue as we start to head even later into the day. We have that winter storm warning for much of our region. So that's because we're looking at snow, sleet, freezing rain in the forecast. If you can avoid those roads, please do so. Stay in place. Otherwise, make sure to drive very carefully out there. And also keep in mind we could be dealing with some power outages. So definitely a messy day ahead.
Absolutely. And folks, make sure you download our WFXR News app for all the latest updates. Make it a great day.